your dreams.
Turbo Hare Fritia kind of sucks, I'm not gonna lie. I think she might be one of the worst 5-star limited characters we've had so far. I'm not saying it in a negative or positive way, I'm saying it in a neutral, matter-of-fact way. I think she might be one of the worst limited characters in the game. Turbo Hare Fritia is a chaos DPS character that uses a sniper rifle. Since she is a main DPS, I do think she's kind of an easy skip. Support characters have more value than main DPS characters, and I think Turbo Hare Fritia is very underwhelming when it comes to other main DPS characters. Turbo Hare Fritia's main gimmick is that she's going to be running on the field quite a lot. Whenever you dodge with the new Fritia, she'll enter this sprinting mode, and during this sprinting mode, you'll notice like the 3 packs that she has somewhere in the middle of the screen, it'll like glow up. This sprinting mode of hers is very important because it's the only way that Fritia can use her ultimate or her standard skill. When you use her ultimate for the first time, you will get a cutscene, but after the first time, you're not going to be seeing it anymore. I was kind of confused at first if I was still using her ultimate skill or if I was just using a different skill, but it's her ultimate skill, but it just doesn't play the cutscene after the first time you use it. Probably because you are going to be using it quite often. Now, Fritia herself doesn't really deal that much damage. Her numbers just seem very low. Her sprinting gimmick is pretty fun, I will say. The scuffed part of her sprinting skill is that when you're trying to use the support skill while she's sprinting, you do kind of have to watch out where she's going. You also have to manage your stamina as well. If sprinting is going to be part of her main gimmick, I think they should have at least increased her own stamina bar. Turbo Hare Fritia is a very simple character. You sprint, and then whenever you're sprinting, you're either going to burst or use her standard skill. Her standard skill is very similar to the first 5-star Katia, the basic 5-star Katia. She cannot move while she's using her standard skill, and you also have like this auto aim on the screen that'll help you aim at the enemy a little bit more easier. She does take less damage while she's in this state, so you don't have to necessarily worry about her dying while she's using her standard skill. While Fritia is in this state, her crit damage is fixed at 100%. If you lock the neurotics on her skill, she'll recover 15 stamina after each shot during this stance, and when she's equipped with a chaos weapon, this skill will not consume any S energy and the cooldown will decrease by 1 second. Her support skill is probably not even worth mentioning, to be honest. It's really not that good. She basically just deals chaos damage to the enemies in front of her. It doesn't really have any secondary effects. It's a very basic support skill, nothing really too crazy going on. Ultimate is also pretty basic as well. It's like a super duper charged shot that deals chaos damage to the enemies in front of her. On the bright side, since Fritia doesn't use any skill energy or ultimate energy, she basically uses her own energy from her sprinting mechanic. You can basically spam her ultimate skill as much as you can. If you unlock the neuronics of her ultimate skill, it can be considered ballistic damage, which is pretty interesting. So she can get a buff from Fenny. In fact, Fenny is a pretty good support for the new Turbo Hare Fritia. And after you use her ultimate, she'll gain 30 stamina after she uses it. So for the neuronic points, I would probably consider going for the standard and ultimate. You could probably leave the support skill alone since it's really useless, because after she uses her standard or ultimate, she'll at least gain some stamina back. And since sprinting is a big part of her gimmick, she's going to be needing as much stamina as possible. As I stated earlier, she is a main DPS character, so I do think she's kind of an easy skip. And she's also very underwhelming when it comes to other DPS characters. Let's take Cherno, for example. Cherno is just very fucking strong. She has very high numbers. Her damage over time is also very good for AFKing. Cherno is just a very strong character in general. She also has her own dedicated support, Enya. She also has another very good support from the new 5-star Marion. Cherno is just very strong to the point where they basically have to introduce enemies that have chaos resistance. So the fact that Fritia is chaos, that automatically kind of gimps her a little bit because a lot of the new bosses we've had have chaos resistance. And Fritia's numbers are not as high as Cherno, so Fritia is just, she's just a very underwhelming character in general. Infinite Scythe Life is another DPS character that's just generally very strong ballistic damage, arguably a better dodge mechanic than Fritia. Fritia's sprint mechanic, I think it's fun and unique, but Infinite Scythe's dodge mechanic is just a little bit more manageable. Infinite Scythe also has a very strong support in the Starshine Fenny. Now, Starshine Fenny is a good support for a lot of characters, but with Infinite Scythe Life just deals more damage with Starshine Fenny. Kisana series is also just super fucking strong ultimate, strong standard skill, strong ballistic damage. She doesn't even have a dedicated support. You can basically just manage her own. Dawnwing Kadia is also just very strong as well. Very high numbers. Has a pretty cool support in the 5-star Marion. Fritia is just very below average when it comes to these other DPS characters. Not that that's like a bad thing, because not every piece of art can be like the greatest piece of art ever. You're gonna have some doo-doo every now and then, and Fritia just happens to be, you know, the new cute doo-doo. I do think she's a fun character to play, but she's just not that good compared to other DPS characters. I think Infinite Scythe Life is getting a rerun this patch, and I think you should pull for her if you're looking for a new DPS character, because she's very fucking good. What's strange about this new Fritia is that she's chaos element, even though she dresses like she's thermal. Her skill names also have like this thermal motif, right? Her standard skill is called Bounding Sun. Her support skill is called Heart's Cinders. Her ultimate is called Cascade of Light, and her Dwellos alignment is called Seeds of Light. So all of these kind of reference like thermal energy and stuff, but yet for some reason she's chaos. It's like a small little detail, but I just find it kind of weird that all of her skills kind of sound like thermal character skills, but yet she's chaos. Anyways, that's going to be the end of this video. Let me know what you guys think about the new Turbo Hare Fritia. Did you guys pull for her? What do you think of the new Turbo Hare Fritia? And I'll see you guys later.
Bye now. Come again soon.